Here we got a regular deck of cards. You get a spectator to shuffle the cards and cut the cards in half. They give you either half. I'll take these, they will have those. We both shuffle our cards. So we mix up our cards. The spectator mixes up their cards. You ask them to pick any card they like from their pack. They pick a card out and then drop it on top of my shuffled cards, and then take a few cards off of his and drop them on, and a few more and a few more to totally lose it. Then you ask them to cut the pack into several piles so they can go through and make lots of small packets across the table. Then you ask them to collect them in any order they like to totally mix these up. And they can even cut them again if they like. At this point, no one could know what card they had chosen. I'm going to go through and I'm going to remove a few cards from the pack. We've now got 3 cards on the table. You ask them to make their fingers into a victory V sign. Make sure they get it the right way round. And ask them to lower it onto 2 of the cards. They lower it onto 2 of the cards, and you ask them to push those towards you to eliminate those 2 cards. An absolute free choice. The one card being left is indeed the chosen card. Now, the secret to this particular card trick involves the use of a key card. Most magicians who are beginning in magic will learn about the key card. Let me explain. The cards are shuffled, the spectator does cut the cards, he can ask which cards you have, you shuffle your cards, but while you shuffle your cards, you're going to note the card that ends up on the top. Now here I've got a Queen of Spades. I'm going to make sure that when I shuffle that it ends up on top. You must know the top card of your deck. So I've got the Queen of Spades. The spectator shuffles their cards. They can look at the faces or just pick one out randomly. They pick out a card, in this case the 2 of diamonds. You ask them to drop it on your packet and then take small clumps. Now this is no different to them dropping the whole pack on. It's got nothing to do with the trick. It just confuses the whole issue and they think that they're really losing the card in the pack. Once they've done that, either you or the spectator can take the card and you say just cut off small chunks of cards, and they can do as many as they like. The more they do, the more impressive it appears. Then you ask them to gather them up in any order, and they can gather the cards up in any order on the deck. What happens finally is you will know which card they've got by looking at the cards. So you turn the cards towards yourself, make sure the spectator doesn't see them, and you run through. Now what I'm looking for is my key card, the Queen of Spades. As I go through, I quickly find the Queen of Spades. Now there's my key card. I know that the card directly above me is the chosen card. Now what I will do is I will remove that card and put it down. I'll then pick out another 2 cards. We're then going to use Magician's Force, and this is quite a clever one because all you do is you put the 3 cards out. Now I know this one here is their card. You ask them to make a victory V sign with their fingers and lower it onto any 2 cards. Now they've only got 2 choices, either these 2 or these 2. Okay, and that's why you spread these out so they can't stretch their fingers. Unless they got fingers that are really long, they just go on to these 2 or these 2. Now in the routine you saw me perform, they put them on these 2. As soon as they put them on there and not the chosen one, I told them to get rid of those, push them towards me to eliminate those, and we're left with one which turned out to be their card. However, What happens if they put their fingers on these two? You say, we'll eliminate this one here. You then ask them, keep their fingers on, just lift up one finger. Now, if they lift up this finger, you say, keep your finger held on the one you want, and you eliminate this. If they lift up this finger, then ask them to push this card towards you and eliminate that. It's called Magician's Choice because you're always going to make sure you end up with this card and you reveal their chosen card. What you've got here is a great simplistic trick that appears grander than what it is. It's almost self-working. Once you know the key card, you locate the card, but also by putting 3 cards down, they appear to have chosen the card themselves. And that is a clever piece of rapid magic.